without further ado, we're going to go ahead and rock and roll our talk today. If you weren't on last week's call, and this is your first bi-weekly call with me, what these are going to look like is we'll do some talks, we'll do some Q&A, but we'll do a lot of presentation style. More specifically on the mindset side, character trait side, value side. I feel like that's where the biggest gap is for individuals that want to be successful in entrepreneurship is the mindset side. The skill, just like fitness coaching, there's really only a couple ways you can skin the cat, right? But really it's what's between the ears. That's the separator between the people that are successful versus not successful. All right, so without further ado, I know this isn't the sexiest of presentations, but it helps me. I'm a checklist individual, so I'm going to share my screen so you guys can follow along. But what we're going to talk about today is what does it really take to make $10,000 a month? And I wanted to create this particular talk because I noticed that in the coaching space specifically, a lot of the ads that we see talk about how easy it is to make $10,000 a month. And you've probably seen some of my ads where I actually released a few recently that are trying to speak to the contrary of that it actually is hard. And if you do reach it, like that's an incredible feat. It's possible for everybody, but it definitely takes a lot of hard work and a lot of diligence. And my goal and my aim is to be able to be transparent with you guys and talk about the fact that it is hard. And it isn't always this cakewalk that we're, led to think about. So by the end of this conversation, my main goal is for you guys to say, shit, am I really giving it my all? Because I would be a betting person to say that a lot of you guys probably aren't working as hard as you need to work to make that $10,000 a month that you want to make, plain and simple. So once again, my goal today is you're leaving here saying, shit, am I truly giving this my all? And if you are, if the answer is yes, I am truly giving this my all, how can we take that to the next level? All right, so that's the goal today. Now, before we dive into the subject, I want to remind you guys why you joined NLCA in the first place. Yes, we're talking about money today, but really the main reason why you joined NLCA was more than just the money. All right, it was probably one of these things. Number one, you wanted to truly feel passionate about your career. Maybe you worked a 9-to-5 or you're currently working a 9-to-5 in the corporate world and you're sick and tired of feeling like you're waking up and your life doesn't have meaning. Maybe that's why you joined NLCA, to move into a career path that you're actually passionate about. Number two, maybe you simply just wanted more control of your life and time. You wanted to be able to wake up and decide, when am I going to work today? Hey, maybe I'm not feeling it today. Maybe I want to, go for a long hike before I start work today in the afternoon, right? You want more control of your life and time. Number three, you wanted more for yourself and your family. Maybe you're doing this to give back to your family. You want to create a better life for your family. You want to do those vacations, right? You want to be able, when your kids say, hey, mom, dad, can you buy this for me? You want to be able to say yes and no, and not say no, not this month, right? So maybe you want more control of your life, or maybe you want more control for yourself and for your family. All right, number four, maybe you just want to be a good example. Once again, you're a parent and you want to showcase what it means to exercise on your goals and dreams, to move forward on your goals and dreams, and to not settle. Maybe you just want to be a good example. Maybe it's for your kids, maybe it's for your family, maybe it's for your friends. Number four, maybe you want to just feel a sense of accomplishment, right? Maybe that's why you joined NLCA, is to feel a sense of accomplishment. Or lastly, maybe it's to change other individuals' lives. All right, so as we go through this talk today, as we go through this presentation today, let's remember those reasons. All right, let's remember the main reasons why you joined this program in the first place, beyond just making $10,000 a month. All right, we're going to move on to the next part here, which is the two camps and the big mistake. All right, so I'm going to generalize here, but usually there are two camps of people who want to grow online fitness coaching businesses, meaning two main reasons why they want to do it. All right, number one is probably going to be the one that you guys say is predominantly you. All right, and that's for the lifestyle business. All right, so what the lifestyle business is you probably want to make anywhere from like $8,000 to $15,000 a month, but you really don't have any goals to scale this thing to the moon, right? You're more so creating the business so you can live a lifestyle. You don't want the business to be your lifestyle, meaning you don't want to wake up and have to work in your business all day long. You're creating the business to have more time. All right, that's the lifestyle business. Number two, the second camp of individual. This will be the smaller percentage of you, but the second camp is the scale to the moon individual. All right, the scale to the moon individual, they want to maximize their full potential. They want to see how far can they actually take this thing? What is their ceiling? How big of a business can I create? How big of an impact can I make? My dog is going to start barking. She sees the window cleaners. Just turn up the volume. All right, so those are the two camps. We have the lifestyle business and we have the scale to the moon. Drop in the chat right now. Which one are you? Are you the lifestyle business or are you the scale to the moon person? And I'm going to go tell my dog to shut up. Hey, enough. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. I shut the door. Hopefully, drop in the chat actually if you guys can hear me okay, or if I really need to go lay the smack down on her. All right, we got to the moon. We got lifestyle. I see lots of lifestyle. I see a couple to the moons. I see a balance of both. Hear me loud and clear. All right, good, good, good. All right, nice. I love it. Good mixture of both, mostly lifestyle as I anticipated. And I was hoping for that answer because that tees me up perfectly for the big mistake. All right, so here's the big mistake. Whether your goal is to scale to the moon or to have a lifestyle business, in order to get to $10,000 a month, it takes the same level of commitment and effort. And the big mistake that people make is when they want to have that lifestyle business, they think that they need to put in less effort to get to $10,000 a month. It's not the case. When you are trying to build a lifestyle business, you have to put up a ton of effort on the front end in order to actually get it to the place where it's sustainable for your lifestyle, right? Because in order for it to be sustainable for your lifestyle, what do you need? You need cash flow, right? And $10,000 a month is probably around the area of cash flow that you need to sustain the lifestyle that you are seeking, right? And then once it's at $10,000 a month, you need to have all the systems in place in order to optimize that, right? So there is a shit ton of upfront work that you have to do, even if you're trying to be a lifestyle business. All right. So the big mistake that I see is that the individuals trying to build a lifestyle business think that they can put in less effort and achieve the same outcome. And that's not the case. All right. Moving on to the next section here. We just dropped a reel that said this, so this might be a repeat for you guys. But making $10,000 a month is about working harder, not smarter. All right, I'm going to say that again because that's probably contrary of what you've heard before. But making $10,000 a month is actually working harder, not smarter. Scaling past $10,000 a month is working smarter, not harder. Let me explain, and then we'll get into the common pitfalls here. All right, in the beginning of any new venture, specifically in business, you are going to have to work harder, not smarter. Reason being is because there are a lot of skills that you don't have yet. And it's going to take a lot of time, effort, and energy to acquire those skills to even have the ability to work smarter. We can't work smarter unless we understand and harness all the skills necessary in order to grow our business. All right, so in the beginning, get it out of your mind right now about working smarter. All right. In the beginning, up to $10,000 a month, it is all about effort. It is all about going crazy. It is all about that tornado phase. It is all about hard work. It is not necessarily about working smarter. But once we acquire the skills, the sales skills, the marketing skills, the client delivery skills, and we try to scale past $10,000 a month, then we could focus on efficiency, details, and fine tuning and work smarter, not harder. All right, so you got to work harder first before we can work smarter. All right, common pitfalls to this. All right, this is where you're going to want to pay attention. You're going to want to make sure that you're not falling into these common pitfalls. All right, so what are the common pitfalls of the individuals who are trying to work smarter in the beginning when they really need to be working harder? All right, number one, always trying to find the next newest or more efficient lead generation strategy or sales strategy instead of just committing to what's in front of you. This also happens with ideal clients as well, right? The individual who does ideal client hopping. This week, I'm working with doctors. Next week, I'm working with therapists. The week after that, I'm working with stay-at-home moms. Why do individuals do client hopping? The reason they do ideal client hopping is because for a short period of time, in quotes, it didn't work. and then they try to move on to the next thing, hoping that that works. What does this sound a lot like, right? And it's not just ideal clients. It's also with lead generation strategies, with sales strategies. What does this sound a lot like? It sounds a lot like your fitness clients, right? Because your fitness clients do the same thing. They say, what about this strategy? What about this strategy? What about intermittent fasting, right? What about keto? What about calorie counting? The reason that they are bouncing from strategy to strategy to strategy is because they are not committing to the work and effort of the strategy that they have right in front of them. The second it gets hard, they pull back and say, oh, this strategy doesn't work. Might as well go on to the next thing. Might as well try the next thing. So my challenge to you is don't be like that fitness client, right? Because those are the trouble fitness clients. Those are the ones where we want to pull our hair out, right? So we have to have some self-reflection here. Are we being that type of client in our business? And if the answer is yes, that's a common pitfall. We got to change that. All right, number 2. All right, so the second thing for the individual who is trying to work smarter when they need to be working harder is this. They're spending time and energy on the little details. All right, so I'll give you some examples here. All right, number 1 would be the wording on their messenger script and sales script, right? They're sitting down, they're tweaking every little word, every little emoji, every little grammar thing about the messenger script and the sales script, and they're saying, that's the reason why I'm not booking calls. That's the reason why I'm not closing these calls, is because of this wording and that wording. Not the case. All right, not the case. That's a fine detail that doesn't really matter, doesn't have a lot of leverage. Number 2 would be with your content, focusing on the lighting and the angles, right? Like, do I have this perfect lighting? Do I have this perfect angle? Is this little word perfect in my caption? And is this little thing perfect on the emoji that I'm using in my reel? Doesn't matter. Look at my content. I post a shit ton of it, but is it really that pretty? No, it's not pretty at all. And I don't really care for it to be pretty. Most of the time I'm sitting in front of my desk and I'm blabbing like I'm blabbing right now. All right. At the end of the day, these fine little details don't really move the needle. All right. It's the overarching strategies that move the needle. All right. Number 3, a third example here would be creating the perfect sales presentation and having the perfect Zoom background. All right. Who on the call here has found, and let's be honest, because, you know, this has been me as well. I'm saying all the mistakes that I overcame too, guys. But let's be honest, who has spent a whole entire day making their sales presentation on Canva or trying to make the perfect Zoom background on Canva? Drop it in the chat right now. Say, Chad, you called me out. You called me out, Chad, because I've done the same shit. I've spent whole entire days on things that did not move the needle forward and got to the end of my day and was like, what the fuck was I doing? Why did I do that? Why did I focus on that? Yes. Good. All right. I'm glad. I appreciate you guys' ownership. All right. Ownership is the start here. All right. So that's the second thing, spending time and energy on the little details instead of the big picture. All right. That's the next biggest pitfall that I see. All right. The third pitfall that I see for the individual who's trying to work smarter, not harder, is staying stuck in consumption mode. All right. What I mean by that is they think it will be more efficient to consume everything first before they do. I'm going to go through the whole entire course before I take action. I'm going to go through this whole entire module before I take action. I'm going to get on 5 different one-to-one calls with my one-to-one coach before I take action on this thing. All right. The reason that individual is doing it is they think the more they consume, the more calls they get on, that they'll find a better way of doing it before taking action on it. Newsflash, no better way of doing it. Got to take messy action. Got to get in it. All right. And that's what I say in this newsflash here. And this is for all 3 of the ones that we just talked about. All right. There is nothing efficient about making $10,000 a month. There is nothing efficient about making $100,000 a month. There's nothing efficient about making any amount of money a month. Everything is messy. Everything is chaotic, and everything is borderline manic. All right. And I say this from experience because I've gone from all the different X amount of monies a month and none of it changes. All right. It's always a little bit crazy. It's always a little bit messy. It's always a little bit chaotic. But that's the reason we got into entrepreneurship, is because we didn't want the mundane structure of corporate America, right? If we wanted the mundane structure of corporate America, then we would have chose to stay in corporate America. But no, we got into entrepreneurship. Nobody tells us what to do. We carve our own path, and that's always going to be messy, and that's always going to be chaotic, and it's always going to be borderline manic. but you got to fall in love with that feeling. You got to fall in love with the feeling of what the fuck is going on. That's got to become fun for you. All right, who's enjoying this so far? Drop in the chat if you guys are enjoying this so far. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Okay. Well, good news for you guys is we got a shit ton more left. All right, let's talk about it. The real reason you are not at $10,000 a month is because you haven't accepted what we just talked about yet. So instead of aligning your time and effort with non-revenue generating activities, we got to start aligning our time with revenue generating activities. All right. So we got to accept it's chaotic. We got to accept that it's going to be borderline manic. And we got to recognize when are we spending time on non-revenue generating activities, and how can I replace that with a revenue generating activity? All right. That should be when you're setting your day every single day, you should ask yourself, how can I do more revenue generating activities? That's what we're going to talk about now. All right. So what is a non-revenue generating activity? Focusing on your admin systems. Now, necessary, yes, but should it be the primary of your day? Absolutely not. All right, so our whole entire module that I spent a lot of time creating, admin systems, I'm telling you right now, that's a non-revenue generating activity. And if you are spending a whole entire day on creating your admin systems, even past the time that they've already been created, then that is unnecessary. We do not need that. All right, financial systems, that would be a non-revenue generating activity. All right, at this stage, spending extensive time on welcome packets, client resources, client programmings. Once again, at this stage, you just need to get your clients results. All right, you don't need all the fancy shit, right? When you guys get into Master Coach, we focus, put yourself on mute, please. Or actually, Serena, you're my co-pilot. Help me put peeps on mute that are talking. Okay. Once again, at this stage, spending extensive amount of time on the welcome packets, on the client resources, on the client programming is unnecessary. All right, at this stage, when you're trying to get to $10,000 a month, you just got to focus on the client, creating an amazing relationship, and getting that person results. All right, and that doesn't require fancy welcome packets and resources and things of that nature. All right, when you guys get into Master Coach, if you get into Master Coach, that's when we focus on really creating a world-class product. But at this stage, getting people results is world-class. And that's all you need up until $10,000 a month. All right, the next one here. At this stage, spending extensive amounts of time on creating content is unnecessary. I don't even do it. All right, we're a multiple seven-figure business. In fact, actually today we're 3 years in and we just hit the 8-figure mark in total sales. And I do not spend extensive amount of times on creating fancy content. I do spend a lot of time on creating content, but I don't give a shit about if it's fancy or not. I just want to get it out there. All right, the last one here is over-consuming modules. All right, non-revenue generating activities, over-consuming modules. Here's the mindset that you should have when you're consuming modules. When you're consuming modules, it should be, what's the tidbit? What's the golden nugget? How do I do this from a general sense? All right, cool, I got it. Let me go apply it. It shouldn't be, let me watch this module 10,000 times until I know each granular little detail, and then I'll do it. Wrong way to do it. Get the general sense, take action, figure it out along the way. Okay, what are revenue generating activities? All right, so revenue generating activities are going to be actively executing lead generation strategies. I say actively executing, not studying, not learning, actively executing. Free WhatsApp challenge. I'm just going to go through the list. Free WhatsApp challenge, cross-pollination strategy, free resource strategy, poll strategy, virtual event strategy, meet people, get clients strategy, scholarship strategy, combo to call strategy, our new module, the beginner ad strategy, just launched this past week, and the referral strategy. All right. And I did list this on purpose, right? It's not just DM outreach. We have 10 different strategies. Yes, DM outreach is one of them. DM outreach sometimes is a part of these other ones, right? But there are 10 different strategies that you guys can actively execute on. All right, what's another revenue generating activity? Taking sales calls. Can't get more revenue generating than that, right? Number 3, retaining clients. A lot goes into retaining clients, getting them results, curating a good relationship, and executing the actual sales process. All three of those are revenue generating activities. All right, the next one here, creating 5 to 7 pieces of content a week, but big emphasis on but, using the NLCA organic marketing strategy. All right. If you guys don't know yet, that's in the marketing overview module. There's a specific video that's titled NLCA organic marketing strategy. Go through that, right? What we teach you there is a effective process where you're only spending a couple hours a week on content, but you're still able to pump out 5 to 7 pieces of content consistently a week. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be fancy, but if you follow that strategy, it's going to be a lot more efficient for you. All right. And then the last one here, beating a dead horse, getting your clients results is a revenue generating activity. Woo, lots of talking. We're going to keep this train rolling though. All right. So now you guys know, let's do a quick little recap. All right. So what have we talked about so far? We've talked about the high likelihood is majority of us aren't working hard enough. I'll throw myself in that bucket, right? All right, we've talked about, we reinstated your why. We talked about the 2 different camps, lifestyle business, scaled in the moon business. We talked about regardless of what your goal is, you're going to have to put at least a ton of effort in until you're making $10,000 a month. All right, from there, we talked about the common pitfalls. And then we talked about the non-revenue generating activities and revenue generating activities. All right, so now we're going to transition. We're going to talk about targets over time. All right, so we're talking once again about hard work here, but targets over time. So this is a big thing that I see, especially in this beginning phase for 10K Accelerator, when you are transitioning from your day job, your 9 to 5, to being an entrepreneur, is you carry employee think into entrepreneurship. And we got to stop that right now. All right, here's what I mean by employee think. Employees think in terms of time. All right, today I worked 8 hours. Today I worked 10 hours. Today I worked 12 hours. And they hang their hat on how many hours they put into work. Entrepreneurs don't think that way. Entrepreneurs think in terms of targets. All right, they wake up every day and they say, what are my targets? How many calls do I need to book today? How many calls are on my calendar that I need to convert to a client today? All right, how many client check-ins do I need to do in today? Those are target-oriented activities. All right, and we need to start creating and thinking in terms of daily targets, not how much time. All right, Andy Frisella actually says this and says this really well. He does 3 critical tasks a day. NLCA Apex Challenge, 3 critical tasks a day. All right, if you do 3 things in your day that move your business forward, not 5, not 6, not 7, yes, there's going to be little tasks that you have to do, but I'm talking about 3 critical tasks a day. If you can focus on that and execute that, and doesn't matter how many hours you put in to do that. Once that's done, your day is done. All right. So stop carrying the employee think into entrepreneurship. It's not about how much time you work. That's not a bragging right. It's about, were you effective? Did you get your targets done? And if you got your targets done, you move the business forward. In the chat, this will give me a chance to take a sip of water. In the chat, are you target focused or are you employee focused or time focused? Drop it. Let's see it. Nice. Lots of target focused. I love it. I love it. You guys are learning. You guys are learning them. Okay. All right. Great. This will be helpful then. All right. I'm going to talk about what my day was like prior to making $10,000 a month. All right. So I'll talk about the exact things that I did up until the point that I made $10,000 a month. All right. So these were the targets that I set. These were the things that I focused on. Number 1, I set a daily booking target. All right, so if you go into the target setting module, I help you set these targets. All right, so I set a daily booking target. So I woke up, all right, I took a notebook like this and I said, okay, today I need to book 2 calls. Today I need to book 3 calls. And I shit you not, I worked until I hit that target. Some days I hit that target in 2 hours. Some days I hit that target in 8 hours. I didn't care about the time. I cared about, did I hit the target? Did I book the 2 calls? Did I book the 3 calls? All right, the next target that I set, Serena, we got to find that individual. Put them on mute. All right, the second target that I set is I looked at my calendar. All right, how many meet and greet calls did I have that day? All right, let's say I had 3 meet and greet calls that day. I set a target for how many of those meet and greet calls I was going to convert to a closing call. All right, was I going to convert all 3? Was I going to convert 2 of the 3? I'm always going to set high targets. I was never going to short myself, but I would always set a target for how many calls I would convert to a closing call. All right, then I would look at my calendar, same thing. How many closing calls do I have? All right, and I would set a target for how many I was going to close. All right, usually I aimed for 50%. Obviously, I'm trying to be a high achiever. Just so you guys know, 30% is industry average. So if you're closing at 30%, you're doing a great job. But if you're like me, you're going to want to strive for more. All right, so I set a daily booking target. I set a conversion target from meet and greets to closing calls, and a conversion target for my closing calls to clients. All right, the next target that I had is I had to make 1 post a day. All right, I would do this 6 days a week. I would take 1 day off, but I had to make 1 a day. Didn't spend a ton of time on it. Like I said, I didn't care about how pretty it was. I cared about if I got it out. All right, that was my target. All right, the last thing I did is I checked in on clients, right? Whether I had a structured check-in or I wanted to do an additional reach out, right? But I was focusing on results. What drives results? Yes, the program to some degree drives results, but making sure your clients are accountable to the program is the thing that drives the results most. All right, so I spent majority of my coaching time on that, talking with the clients, driving results, holding them accountable. I did not spend majority of my coaching time making fancy resources, welcome packets, things of that nature. I'm going to be honest, they didn't really give a shit about that. They cared about my time, my energy, my attention, and their results. All right, so looks pretty easy, right? This was my day. This is how simple I made it. All right, and we're human beings. We try to make things more complex than they really are. All right. And what you'll find in entrepreneurship is actually when you remove things is when you move faster and is when you have more success. So I would be a betting man to say that if I looked at a lot of your guys' calendars, you're filling it with things that are actually preventing you from moving forward. And if you simplified your daily checklist to being targets that are based on lead generation, closing calls, making a post, and servicing your clients, you'd move a hell of a lot faster in your business. And heck, maybe a larger percentage of you guys would be at $10,000 a month. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Do not overcomplicate. I still have to remind myself of this today. And my leadership team does an amazing job of reminding me. They'll say, Chad, what are you doing? You're crazy. You have way too much on our plates right now. This is the only stuff we need to focus on to move the company forward. And I'll say, you know what? You're fucking right. And I'll pull stuff off their plate. See a couple of things in the chat. I'll answer that question right now, Sophia. Yes, additionally, right? So yes, every client would have their structured check-in like we teach inside the course, but there were times where I would do additional reach outs 110% just to see how they're doing. Especially in the beginning, right? Like up until about 30 to 50 clients, you can manage reaching out to these individuals additionally for that extra touch point and extra support. It's really when you start adding assistant coaches and scaling out that it becomes harder to do those additional touch points. And you could still do the touch points, but you have to do them at a more grander scale like I'm doing right now. All right, so we talked about targets over time. We talked about Chad's day to $10,000 a month. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is probably another one of the biggest ones that we'll talk about today, is making sacrifices. All right, so write this down. If you're taking notes, write this down. All right, to the degree you are willing to make sacrifices or trade-offs is the degree that you'll be successful. I'm going to say that again. To the degree that you are willing to make sacrifices or trade-offs is the degree that you're going to be successful. So my question to you is, what are you willing to trade off? All right, I'm going to go through the list here. Are you willing to trade off sleeping in for waking up early? Are you willing to trade off staying up late to go to bed early so you can wake up early? Are you willing to trade off skipping weekend events, right? As entrepreneurs, we're going to get asked, do you want to go out to this? Do you want to go out to this? Are you willing to skip those? Are you willing to give up drinking? Are you willing to move on from friends? All right, I've done all of these things. I'm only 28 years old. I gave up my whole entire 20s in order to dedicate my life to this, in order to create this. That's what I was willing to trade off. I was willing to give up 2 friend groups. I was willing to give up weekends for a very long time. I worked 7 days a week for a very long time. I started this at 19, 28 now, almost 10 years in. I'm married now. I have a wife. I got to spend some time away. I got to make her happy. I work six days a week, but for a very long time, I was pretty much a loner. I would work out, I would work, and that was pretty much my life. I understand a lot of you guys have kids, and obviously that takes time as well. And I'm not saying you need to sacrifice that, but what else can you sacrifice? Or what else can you trade off? Maybe it is a few drinks on the weekend that you could trade off to buy back some energy, right? Maybe it is not staying up so late. Maybe it is waking up a little bit earlier. Maybe you do have a toxic relationship or friendship that you need to let go. But once again, to the degree that you are willing to make sacrifices or trade-offs is the degree that you're going to be successful. Let's get in the chat again. Let's drop one thing that we need to trade off that we haven't yet. And fuck, I'll play the game as well. I would say drinks. Sometimes I like to have a couple of drinks on the weekend. Sunday is the new Monday for me, but sometimes I wake up on Sunday, I'm a little more tired than I probably should be. Could be a little bit more effective if I didn't have 2 margaritas the night before. All right, so for me, I would say drinks. Let's go. I love it. Hell yeah. This is fun. I'm having fun. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this as well. All right, we're almost done, and then we're going to get into Q&A. I'll try to save 15 minutes for you guys. Okay, you guys have heard this story as well. It's inside the module, so I won't go over the full-blown thing. But the next thing I want to talk about here in terms of reaching 10K is it's okay to be a little crazy. All right, this was definitely a big pivotal moment for me in my journey to reaching that $10,000 threshold. Is I was not okay with my crazy prior to that point, right? And like I said, you guys have heard the stories in the module. I went to multiple different therapists. I thought I had these mental disorders. My grandma had some mental disorders, so I thought maybe they were passed down to me. I started self-diagnosing myself, and I didn't just accept the fact that I was different, right? I didn't just accept the fact that I was different and that is okay, right? As entrepreneurs, we are different. I don't know if your guys' story is like me, but I didn't really fit in school. I went to 4 different colleges in 5 years because I was trying to seek something different and couldn't find it in any of the colleges that I went to. When I was in grade school, in 8th grade, I was told I needed to repeat the 8th grade because I didn't have the grades to be successful in high school, right? School, I was out of place in school, right? And that made me feel different. But once again, that's okay. I am different. I am a little crazy, right? To be an entrepreneur, you got to be a little wacky. You got to be a little bit of a whack job, right? But eventually, I accepted my crazy, right? And because I accepted my crazy, I then was okay with the amount of work that I was putting in. I then was okay with the fact that I was willing to give up a few friend groups, that I was willing to trade off my early 20s to be successful. Because you can't make these trade-offs until you understand what you are trying to pursue and understand that, yes, it probably is a little bit crazy, and accept the fact that it's okay to be a little bit crazy. All right, so I wanted to throw that in here. All right, accept you're crazy. It's okay to be a little bit crazy. All right, y'all. In summary, let's sum up all the key points that we talked about today. Even if you want a lifestyle business, it is going to take at least $10,000 a month to execute that lifestyle business. And you're going to have to put in the same amount of work as the individual who's trying to scale to the moon in the beginning to get to that point. All right, so stop trying to be efficient. Stop trying to work smarter. In the beginning, it's about working harder, not smarter. All right, number 3, focus on revenue generating activities and shape your day around targets, not time. All right, and then the last one here is accept you're crazy. All right, we're all different. We're all trying to pursue a different life, and that requires different thinking, which some may call crazy. We call it normal, but you have to accept that fact that we are not like the rest of society. All right, and the last one here is we have to be willing to make huge trade-offs in our life, ones that are uncomfortable to make in order to reach the goal that we want to reach. All right, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And let's do Q&A for the rest of the call. Who wants to go first? Q&A could be anything that we talked about today, or anything in general.
I do have a general question.
Yeah, let's do it.
Typically speaking, is there like a whole lot of difference? I'm not sure if it's the same whether you're using both Wave and Stripe, but when you're setting your products or whatever it is up, is there a whole lot of difference whether or not you're using the product versus subscription? I mean, I understand subscription more or less is reoccurring, but there's also like the one
With,
time
this is with Stripe or Wave, sorry.
with Stripe, I guess.
Got it. Okay. So we use Wave and NLCA. We use Stripe for selling like products like the NLCA live tickets and things of that nature. But for our services, we use Wave. But if Stripe is anything like Wave, there's two different options in Wave. You have invoices and reoccurring invoices. It sounds like it's very similar. We use invoices for pay in fulls or any set amount, like a down payment. And then we use the reoccurring for monthly. So for example, if you had somebody who wanted to put a amount down that was different than their monthly, let's say they wanted to put 1,000 down, then you would take that 1,000 down on the invoices or the one-time payment section, and then you would put the rest on the reoccurring section. But if you
Okay.
had somebody that just wanted to go right into month to month, you'd put them right on subscription. So that's how you would use the two features if it works similarly to Wave.
Yes, it does. I had a meeting with my first potential client today. She's not planning on starting and actually signing up for everything until beginning of September, the 6th. So I just wanted to make sure I had everything, clear in my head before I went ahead and mess with anyone's finances.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I would just get in there and create a couple fake invoices and just feel it out, and then you should be good.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I had another question that was similar on this topic. Now that we're on this topic for Wave, I know if you do it, I guess like so it could be reoccurring on their own. Is there a difference between like the bank, like if they put their bank or like card? Isn't it only the card where it'll do automatic payments, but it's like for Wave 2.3% versus the bank it's like 1%?
Yeah, so on Wave you could take ACH payments. If you're doing
That's not automatic, right? I know it'll be less money that we pay, but it's not automatic. Just wanted to clarify before I like made changes.
Nope. So yep. So if you're doing reoccurring, you can only do reoccurring with a debit card or credit card. You can do it with ACH, but you can't save an ACH on file. So it would send them the invoice every month, and then they would have to go in and enter it. But obviously, if you want a higher percentage likelihood of getting the money every month, you would just get the credit card, debit card, and then set it to reoccurring and save the card on file.
Got it. So just got to get over that 2 point whatever 9%, whatever the percentage is. And then it's also tax
Yeah.
deductible. Yeah.
Are you getting pushback on that on sales calls?
No. I didn't know. So of course, before like I knew it's tax deductible and stuff, I went obviously being frugal, I connected their bank account because it was like, okay, 1% versus this. And then now I'm getting like people basically not giving me the money right away, and I'm kind of learning with a little bit of good failure. So now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna pay the higher percentage, get it taken out of me if that means more likelihood that I can take the money out.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean that those fees are tax deductible for you. Yes, I thought you were talking about for the client. So
No.
yeah, those are tax deductible for you. Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be too worried about that, right? Because here's the thing. Yeah, actually, I just wouldn't be too worried about that. What I was about to say wasn't going to make sense.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You got it. All right, who's next?
I have a question.
Let's do it.
So I saw your post the other day on not firing clients, and it like came at the perfect time because I have a very high touch point client who I was like very frustrated with, but I didn't want to give up on her. Like you said, they're like family. And so like what's one tip that you have for clients that are just like that you essentially want to fire, but we don't fire clients?
Yeah, so why do you want to fire the client?
She's just very non-compliant, and she also just doesn't really show any interest in doing the work anymore. And she always has an excuse for something, everything.
And what's been the conversation so far to solve that problem?
We've talked about like her stress levels. We've talked about, because she's stressed about money. And so we've talked about like some finance things. We've talked about the reason why she signed up for my program in the first place. We've talked about her motivators. I mean, I've sent her voice memos. I check in with her pretty much every single day.
That's good. So you're definitely doing your part. Here's the thing. There are certain clients that maybe the relationship doesn't work out. When I was making that point on Instagram, I'm talking more at the high level of just cutting them loose right off the first, second, third issue, right? Because that's a huge missed opportunity on your end. Usually the individuals who bring you complaints in your program are very passionate individuals. And you should view that as an opportunity to have an open, honest dialogue and conversation about what's going on and try to solve that problem so that then their negative passion turns into positive passion. And those will be the individuals that will refer you business. Those will be the individuals that give you glowing reviews, and those will end up being your raving clients. So I think what you're doing with this individual right now is perfectly fine. I think you should definitely continue to commit to them and show that you are committed to them, because that's a representation of your brand. Maybe, once again, we could probably dive very deeply into this, but maybe you need to have a more honest conversation with her to figure out if there's anything going on that maybe she hasn't told you yet, and see where that goes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You got it. Who's next?
Hey, Chad, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So the document you were talking over, I'm driving, so like I couldn't fully look at all of it. Are you going to share that with us so we have it to look back over perchance?
Yeah, of course. I can drop that. I can drop that in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. They're mostly just show notes for myself, but if it helps you remember everything I said, then I will do it for you.
I have a question.
Yes, let's do it.
I asked it in the chat, but I was wondering if you could give examples of like the revenue generating activities. Like, what are some ways that you would execute, for example, like the WhatsApp challenge, the free resource strategy, and like the poll strategies? Like, what are some ways that you would recommend we do to utilize that?
I'm not quite grasping. So what do you mean by that? Like, other than actually executing what's being taught, are
So,
you
like, what do you mean by like a free WhatsApp challenge? Like, what would that be?
Oh, okay. So you just haven't gotten to that point in the module yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What module are you on?
I'm kind of going in order. So like when you said like someone who was overdoing modules, that's me. I haven't really like bounced around. I've kind of just been going in order of what it goes in.
Yeah. Do you know what module you're on?
I can pull it up. Where is it? I'm on like I actually am about to start like the organic marketing strategy one.
Beautiful. You're very close. My recommendation would be it's not necessarily that you're spending too much time on modules. It's just we need to change our approach when we're going through modules. So instead of, like I said in the talk earlier, instead of going through modules trying to understand every single granular detail, go through them trying to understand the general gist and then go apply it, because you're going to learn more in the application of it. So you're about 2 or 3 modules away from starting to get into the lead generation stuff. So I would go through the marketing modules once again with the notion of, let me get the general concept here, and then you'll be at the lead gen modules a lot sooner than you think.
Okay.
You have that one module, the marketing overview, and then the next 3 modules are the different platforms. So marketing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Only go through the one that you're currently marketing on, so you can skip the other 2. The one after that talks about Canva, and then you get into lead generation. So
Okay.
you're not too far away.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Of course. All right, lots of hands raised. I think I saw Sophia. I think I saw hers first.
Can you hear me okay? I'm definitely multitasking right now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So I just was wanting some general advice. I have what, like 2 weeks left in the month, like a week and a half, 2 weeks. If
And
I was gonna really, 10 days, if I was gonna really try to make a revenue push, um, setting the daily targets I know is important, but what would be your best advice to make a revenue push in 10 days?
revenue push in 10 days.
What should I focus on?
So the goal is just getting more revenue, right?
Yep.
Cool. How many clients do you have?
23.
23. I love it. That's awesome. Have you ever ran like a client appreciation special? So essentially what that would be is, I don't know how many people you have close to resign, but you can create an early incentive for people to extend their contracts. Maybe you just call it like your client appreciation week, and you could do this annual, and you can give them like 15% off to extend their contracts for another term, only for the duration of maybe these next 10 days.
That's
When you
actually perfect. I have a lot of clients that are set to resign in September.
Yeah, that's what I would do. When you're asking about revenue push, your clients have already bought from you, so you don't have to go through all the same objection and trust building. 10 days isn't a lot of time to build a lot of trust, right? So you want to think about, what can I offer my current clients?
Okay, I love that. Thank you.
You got it. All right. I don't know if I like the hand raise thing, guys. I prefer you guys just to yell at me. But Jonathan, why don't you go?
Yeah, thank you. So my question is more around kind of pricing and making a decision when it comes to kind of offering lower pricing packages, and kind of the gist of like accepting clients at a lower price point versus at your regular price point. So in my example, my month-to-month coaching is $350 a month. And then I offer a downsell of $250 a month, where it's bi-weekly check-ins. Instead of weekly check-ins, they don't get access to premium resources or as much support in a sense. And it seems like I never offer the downsell until they kind of say that their budget is kind of a little bit short. They can't really commit to that amount of money. So then I say the 250 option, and some people tend to go with it. Some people kind of are like, well, I still can't afford the 250. So I feel like this is where I run into that issue of like, kind of like a scarcity mindset. And I'm like, all right, well, can you do 200 a month or 175? I'll give you 50% off. And I wanted to kind of see like your advice on going below that downsell, and like, is a certain amount, is a little bit of money better than not no money, or in a sense is like, should you still take the client, give them a 50% off or a higher discount, or should you just have more of an abundance mindset and say somebody will come and pay my 350 or 250?
For where you're at right now and your goals right now, I would say no. I would say don't take that. Don't take the person who's trying to short you below the 200, 250. Reason being is they're going to take more of your time than the people who are willing to pay you 350. And right now it's just you, right? There's no team around you. Cool. Yeah. So you don't need that. And plus, those are also the clients that bring you the most complaints. Those are the clients that leave bad reviews. Those are the ones that don't get results. In the beginning and in the future, your most important thing is your brand and your brand equity, because negative word of mouth spreads a lot faster than positive word of mouth. So I just wouldn't take those clients. Now, when you're at like NLCA's level and you're trying to go beyond, you don't necessarily want those clients as one-to-one clients. You have low ticket products like selling a mini course that are hands off, that those types of clients will buy. But at this stage, no, I wouldn't do that. What I would recommend though is, I bet you a large percentage of those individuals that are price shopping you probably actually have the money. They're just trying to see how low you're willing to go, and you should just work on your objection handling skills.
Perfect.
Have you worked with Sav yet?
I have not, no.
Cool. I would definitely get hooked up with her and see what we can do with the objection handling stuff.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Amanda.
Hey, so, oh wait, I'm gonna move. I'm good, right? I
You're
would
great.
just wanted to touch base on the content grading because I haven't had a chance to put anything in there yet, but
Content grading. Oh,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah. I got you.
I just was curious. I think I'm just going up to the message. Is there like a timeline? Are you gonna be doing this kind of like on a rolling basis, or like what's the timeline on that? And then how do you grade it? Like, are you sending a memo back to us individually, or is this kind of like public kind of deal?
Yeah. Great question. Every Tuesday I'm gonna drop the Google Drive, and I'll do like 1 to 3 a week, depending on the type of content I'm creating that week. But yeah, basically the thought process here is I'll tell you the selfish reason first is I thought it would be a good idea. Do you guys know who Dave Portnoy is? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Okay, so he does pizza reviews. So he goes to all these different pizza shops, reviews the pizza, and then like that's his content. I was like, oh, how can I bring that to the business coaching space? And reviewing content is what came to mind. So I thought it could be a win-win if I review y'all's content and give you guys that direct feedback, but then also used it as content. So yes, it will be publicly on my page, which is like, that's the part we have to get over mentally, right? And emotionally. But I will review it and you'll get an honest review from me on my page.
Okay, so I'm not gonna just drop any old thing in there. Okay.
You can, honestly, the more transparent you are, the better response you're going to get. The better response you're going to get, the better you're going to be as a coach or a content creator in this case.
Okay. All right. I'll get over the fear of public review.
Yeah, I'm not too mean. Don't worry.
All right.
I'm honest, but I'm not mean. All right, y'all. We got 60 seconds. I'll take one more. Anybody want to go? Going once, going twice. Thumbs up if you're good. Wow, usually when I say that, I at least get one more person to jump. All right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed today's, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.
Thank you.